Hi, I'm Richard Crawford Luxury, and I'm here at the Kennedy Space Center in Central Florida. In 1903, Orville Wright entered what was then pretty much a makeshift cockpit and took off on man's first flight for about 120 feet, 12 seconds. What's really fascinating to me is that 66 years later, and get that, 66 years later, one person's lifetime, Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon. Quite an incredible feat and really a testament to man's ingenuity. NASA's four main directives today are aeronautics, human space exploration, unmanned space exploration, and Earth exploration. Over the next couple of days, I'm going to have the opportunity to explore some of the operations here at the Kennedy Space Center, from launch to vehicle assembly and even mission control at some point. And ultimately, we're going to end tomorrow with a nice little trip in an airplane that will let me experience zero G. So this towering structure behind me is a vehicle assembly building, otherwise known as the VAB. That's where all the integral parts of any launch came together and were assembled before it went out to the actual launch pad itself. Over on the right side is launch control, this smaller building to the right. That's really where they were counting T-10, 9, 8, 7, real exciting part of any launch. So let's take a look inside and see what this huge monstrosity has in there. We're inside the vehicle assembly building, and I don't know if you can get a sense of the massiveness of this building. At the time of construction, it was the second largest building ever built by volume in the world. I think a nice little touch in this building is all those names on the wall there is everybody who worked on the shuttle program when it finally ended. And also there's a lot of names on there that they brought back who had worked on the program since 1981 and allowed them to write their name on the wall. Quite a nice touch. Behind me is the mock-up of the Orion module. And for those of you who don't know, the Orion program is deep space exploration. And this model here, this mock-up, will actually go on some test rockets that are about to launch here pretty soon. So this is a really, really exciting part of the trip for me, or the tour, and we're actually at the launch pad itself. This is where they bring up any of the space vehicles, they take off and go up into space. Now, surrounding the launch pad, you'll notice some of these tall structures. These are basically lightning rods, and they'll attract any lightning away from the space vehicle that's about to launch off the pad. Also, you might notice on the pad, right in the center, there's a flame deflector, and that causes any flame to come off, that comes down off the ship, deflects it out to the side. So if I was basically standing here on launch day, I would be incinerated in seconds. Right now I'm on launch pad 8, and this is actually where the last shuttle mission 135, launched from back in 2011. And what you're seeing behind me are the service structures that were attached to the shuttle just prior to it taking off. And you have a little bit of a rotating service structure right here, and that basically would go around behind the shuttle and help to load stuff into the loading bay on top of the shuttle. And then this little piece right here is the piece of machinery that brought the shuttle all the way up to the pad. Pretty impressive. This has been like this. Nothing has happened here. It's been dormant since the very last space shuttle in 2011. I'm feeling very, very, very privileged right now to be standing basically on the support structure where the astronauts would come up on the last aircraft that was the shuttle itself. But this is also the spot where Apollo 11 launched. And as most of you probably know, Apollo 11 was the mission to the moon. Neil Armstrong first stepped on the moon in 1969. It all started right here. I can't even begin to tell you what that feels like to be standing in this spot. And it's an amazing view. So I was fortunate enough to get to the launch pad A, where we stood where the actual last space shuttle launch ever took place. And it was this space shuttle, it was Atlantis. And that's where its last journey began. And this ultimately is where its journey's ended. I'm here with Andrea today, here with the Space Kennedy Visitor Center. And incredible, amazing to be this close to a vehicle that's actually been in space. And I have a quick question. There's little dirty marks all over that thing. How did that get there?
That is space dust, space debris, the wear and tear of 33 missions, more than 106 million miles that Space Shuttle Atlantis endured is reflected all over the space shuttle.
And I'm in awe. It's my first time seeing it. Talking to you earlier, it happens to you every time, right? You walk in and it's amazing, right?
It's such an emotional experience to discover the space shuttle program, the rich 30-year history, and then see a flown spacecraft this close up. And as Atlantis is presented, it's like she's working in space, like she's floating in orbit around.
That's why they have
Earth.
it tilted at 432.1 degrees?
That's very good.
43.21?
43.21
Yeah, there you
degree
go.
angle, and the payload bay doors are open,
yeah.
and it's just a magical experience. So this is Atlantis' new journey to inspire people and hopefully inspire young ones in the audience that, hey, you know, look forward to things that are happening at NASA and in space exploration to help guide those journeys.
Right, there you are, guys. Can't beat that. Make sure you get here and make sure you check out this exhibit. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it.
Thank you
It's a
very much,
pleasure.
Ricky.
Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed the privileged access we've had here at the Kennedy Space Center. It's been quite an amazing experience. If you want to follow me on the rest of my excursions, visit my website at richardcrawfordluxury.com. Till next time.